Hey everybody, PJ Riley from Lancaster Archery in our video studio today to bring you arguably one of the most hyped and sought after products of 2025, UV Slider 2. So we're all familiar with the UV Slider. A site came out a couple years ago, took the world by storm. You go to Total Archery Challenge, you're gonna see UV sliders everywhere. This is the UV Slider 2. So the way to think of it is UV Slider, that was the first sight offered by Ultraview, the first complete sight. So there were a lot of wide parameters that they had to build into that sight in order to have it work for the masses. It kind of had to work for everybody. It was their first offering. Okay, they get a couple years of data on how to trim things, how to improve things. We come out with UV Slider 2, and what the folks at Ultraview are saying is that they have improved on everything on this site. So we're gonna run through it for you. First off, what we're gonna tell you about is we have Picatinny mount version. We have the bridge lock version. So this one is meant for those Matthews bows that have the bridge lock technology. And then in the case here that I'm going to take out and put together, we have a direct mount. So there is not what UV called their standard mount, which was mounted on a dovetail sliding in and out. Instead, we have a direct mount. And so I was just curious myself, that standard mount and the direct mount are probably the two closest in terms of how they're built and who they're built for. And what I found was the new version, the UV Slider 2, weighed about a quarter pound less than the standard mount. I didn't take the bracket that you mount on your bow. I left that out. It was just the sight with the bar and the direct mount, the new version from Slider 2, it was about a quarter pound less. It was like the new version weighed like 0.585 pounds and the old version weighed like 0.73 pounds. So it was pretty close to a quarter pound. But that was the purpose of it. Wanted to lighten things up, tighten them up. I'm gonna show you everything about this new sight, and what we'll do is I'll just show you how it comes. We have our standard Ultraview packaging here. Open it up. This is what you're going to see inside. Spare hardware, it's some Allen wrenches and an extra level. So this is going to be our direct mount. This is a left-handed version, so I'm going to be mounting it from this side. And of course you are going to get your scope. Super simple to load the scope onto the rail here. It's done that way so that you can take this apart in travel if you want to. Just slide your wheel and your scope onto it. Got our little gray button down there. I'm just going to pull that back. I'm retracting that. You can see it, but I'm going to cover it up here in a second. So I'm going to take this, slide it on, retract my button. You got to watch out for these indicators because they are sharp, but that's a good thing. We like that. Release my latch there. Slide it up. Boom. Just that simple. Now my sight is put together. And so like I was saying, this version of the Slider 2 weighed about a quarter pound less than the standard mount, the old standard mount, V1. So let's talk about pin configurations. So you're going to see here there are 4 pin configurations. You're going to have, this is what we're going to call 3V, 3 vertical. You're going to have right here, this is going to be 1V, 1 pin vertical. Then you're going to have 3H, 3 pins horizontal. And lastly, you're going to have 5H, 5 pins horizontal. So you're going to be able to choose all of that, your pin configurations, along with whatever specific mount that you want. But then later on, if you want to change things, like in here I have the 3-pin vertical. If I wanted to go to a single pin or a 3-pin horizontal, 5-pin horizontal, I'm just going to get a cartridge and swap it out. I'll show you how to do that in a second. But some things that you're going to notice, some differences right off the bat. You're going to notice a more compact elevation bar, which incidentally, you can go from the top, this is as high as it will go, to the bottom. Watch my fingers. It's about 1/2 turn. So I'm placing both my fingers here. That's where they end up. It's about 1/2 turn, you can see, to go all the way from the top, all the way to the bottom. It's about 1/2 turn of this wheel. So that's awesome. What that means is you can get on to your number really fast. So this shorter sight bar, shorter elevation bar, why would they do that? So what the folks did at Ultraview is once they had their longer bar, the Generation 1 out there, they went through and they asked a bunch of archers, where are you setting, where are you starting on your elevation, and how far down do you go? And so what they were able to do was cut that bar shorter, and then this length bar is going to serve most people out there. This is going to have enough clearance that you're going to, once you go down, you're going to be hitting, you're going to have arrow contact issues anyway. So there's no point in having more bar underneath because you can't use it anyway. So that's one of the ways that they were able to cut the weight, was by cutting down the elevation bar. But it will still work for nearly all of you out there. There's rare instances of people who might need a little more, but we're talking about trying to appease the most people. Now, something else you're going to notice is on this wheel here. They have made this wheel thinner, and the rubber is now molded on actually to the wheel. If you remember the Gen 1, this rubber part could come off. They were 2 separate pieces, which that could be bad in some situations. If you got it caught on something, you don't want that popping off. Well, now it can't pop off. It's molded on there. And the gearing, the gears here, we've got bigger gears than on the Gen 1. That just makes this thing sturdier, more robust, allows you for that quicker movement. It just feels real solid. The Gen 1 felt solid, this one feels more solid. And then of course, we still have our dual dial. So that is no longer patent pending. That is patented. Their dual dial system, which has their elevation wheel and their windage on the inside. And they have improved this as well too. If you remember on the Gen 1, you didn't really hear, it really didn't have that click system that we're very familiar with in target archery. We always talk about, give it 3 clicks to the left. They were very soft clicks, but they have improved it. Now it's definitely a more solid click system you'll hear. So very fine click system. If you're sighting in, you're like, man, I just need like 2 clicks left. Just give it 2 clicks and you're good to go. And of course, the way you operate that is pull out to click, push back in to lock. That's their dual dial system. Folks love that. And the lock, of course, that's ergonomic because we want that lock to be right here. Flip it up, move up or down. It's right there, handy, so you're not fumbling for it. It's in the exact perfect position for locking and unlocking. All right, so something else cool that we have here is this is going to be our hard stop. In other words, when I come all the way up, the scope is going to slam into that, and that's going to be the stop of our elevation. So when you're setting up your sight, obviously you want to start your shortest distance. You want it to be all the way up against that. Well, you can see this is adjustable, so I can move it to several different positions to get that hard stop wherever I want it. Now, some more improvements. One of the issues that folks had with the Gen 1 slider was the pins. They weren't always the brightest. Some folks had issues seeing them. They have definitely improved their pins the fiber in here so that it is much easier to see. And what you're going to notice is the pin fiber is encased in this plastic coating. You'll notice it's actually tinted. It's like a smoke color. That's because when they had clear, Colby Hanley said, if it were clear and you went outside into the middle of the sun, your pins just starbursted like crazy. So now they have this smoke color on there, this tint, to prevent that starburst when you're in the bright sunlight. It'll be plenty bright enough when you need it to be. So kudos for improving on the fiber. Now, the Slider 2 does not come with a light. Of course, the Slider Gen 1 came with a light. The Slider 2 does not come with a light. It's an add-on. This is the light right here, and you can buy that to add to any of the sights. When you buy it, it's going to come with this ring. You're going to pop off this ring, put that one on. Again, I'm going to do that for you here in a second once we're done running through it. But something else, of course, from the Gen 1, you can see the scope is much thinner. The Gen 1 scope that came with the Slider was a much bigger, it was probably about that big. Slimmed it down. Got it to where you need it. It still uses the cartridge system. You can see this bolt here. That's going to allow me to pop off this cartridge, which is the 3-pin vertical, to switch to whatever I need to go to. Coming around, something else we're going to have. Let's talk about indicators. So you can see I've got this green indicator on one side. I've got a green indicator on the other side. And I've got positions for sight tapes on both sides. That's to allow you to run 2 different arrow setups if you want to without having to do anything to your sight. Obviously, you're going to have to change your sight position, but you can have, you know, 4mm arrow build and have it set up on one side with one sight tape, and maybe you want to run 6mm for elk hunting or something, or deer hunting, whitetails where you're not shooting long range. You can have a setup on the other side for that arrow build, and then you don't have to do anything different with your sight. You're already ready to go. Speaking of which, these indicators, you can swap those out. So this is a 3-pin vertical that I have here, and I only have one indicator on each side. Well, with this, what happened is this was a 1-pin sight, and I put the 3-pin cartridge in it, but what it would come with, the 3-pin indicator would come with this. So what I would do is if I had the 3-pin sight, I would just swap out right here. You can see exactly how that would go into place. Take this one off, put this one in, and then I've got indicators for each one of my pins in the scope there. So they've got you covered, so you can have those indicators. And then of course, you know, with the 5-pin, that's going to come with a single indicator, because with 5-pin sights, you're really only using your bottom pin. That's the only one most people use an indicator for. You probably have them set up 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Anything beyond 60, you're going to dial to, and that's where you're going to use your indicator. So that's going to be a 1 indicator. Now, some more features here. So this is a laser engraved setup tape that's going to be on the sight when you get it. So that's going to help you pick your sight tape. So in the pack here, you are going to get a plastic bag that has in it your sight tapes. And you're going to get 30 different sight tapes that you're going to figure out which one works for your sight. And of course, they're stickers. So these metal tapes here, you can pop those off, put your sticker on either side. Put your sticker on there, screw it back in place, and you're good to go. You just have to figure out which one of these sight tapes work for the speed and your arrow build. All right, so let's talk axis adjustment. So right here, you're gonna see it says 1st and 2nd axis. So it's one adjustment, and what Ultraview is guaranteeing is that when you mount your scope to the elevation bar, that the scope is going to be at a perfect 90-degree angle. That means that when you're adjusting here, you're actually only adjusting the first axis, which is going to be your elevation bar. So you're going to attach this to the bow, you're going to put a level on, and by adjusting this, the bar itself is what's going to be moving this way. And your scope is automatically there at the factory, the way it's built, you're going to know that it's at a perfect 90-degree angle to the elevation bar. So you don't have to worry about it. You only really need to make one adjustment. That's why it says first and second axis. Because as soon as you get that elevation bar level, you're going to know that your scope is level as well. And then of course we have our third axis adjustment, which is going to be, you're going to loosen this and you're going to use this screw right here. And what that does is adjusts the scope this way. That's your third axis. So you'll be able to get this sight perfectly level. All right, now let's run through some of the options that you're going to have, and we'll do some mounting here for you. So as I mentioned, you have the 4 different pin cartridges, configurations, and you're going to have the light. So let's go through the light kit. So this is what's going to come in your light kit. You are going to have your charge cord there. It is a USB. It's a USB to USB Type-C. That's what everybody's going to these days. So that's going to be your connection. This is going to fit into any wall-mounted plug. And on the back here, that's going to be your port for the USB Type-C. So when you recharge it, no more replacing batteries. Remember, Gen 1, you had basically those round watch batteries. No more, now it's a rechargeable light. So I want to add a light kit. So I'm going to come over here to my white ring, my high-vis ring, and I'm going to pop that off. Take that ring off. I'm going to take my new ring, pop this into place here. Okay, I've got that in place, and then my light, of course, you can see that's going to be my bottom. This is going to be my top. It just slides right in. Okay, and then there you go. I have my light on. Got 3 different settings, and then of course hold it in to turn it off. So that's all that's involved in adding a light. Let's say we wanted to swap out cartridges. Also simple. So we've got our little bolt right here. I'm just going to loosen that. Once I do that, then this can pop out. Got my pin cartridge out. Let's go to the 5 pin. Now remember, this is a lefty, so everything is backwards for me. But and now we just made that a 5-pin sight. We can hit our light. Got our light on there. So everything, you know, with Ultraview, with their cartridge and light system, everything's made to be simple. Just simple operations to swap out the different parts so that you can customize this as you go. You know, obviously you're going to buy the sight in the configuration you want, but then there may be an instance where you want to have 5 pins for hunting, but you'd rather have a vertical pin, 1 or 3 pins for 3D or something like that. You're going to be able to configure this sight in multiple different ways rather than have to buy multiple sights. All right, that is the UV Slider 2, second generation of the UV Slider from the folks at Ultraview. If you want to see all the different configurations and extra parts, etc., that come with this sight, Be sure to click the link in the description below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click that bell to get notifications whenever we put out new videos. As always, if you got any questions, you can visit us at lancasterarchery.com.